Anomalous Item Catalog. The Sky Has Fallen. In 2008, a young boy named Brendan began treatment to try and manage his constant paranoia that the sky itself was going to fall and crush him. No amount or combination of medication was able to soothe his constant anxiety that his imminent demise was coming from above. That was, until the same condition afflicted another young man in 2011. Spontaneously, Brendan, seemingly cured from this ailment, made a full recovery. And this became a chain. One person would suffer immensely for some random amount of time, sometimes years, sometimes days, and then it would completely stop. A new individual seemingly infected by this paranoia parasite. After we had caught wind of this, we were able to launch an investigation and try to determine what the cause of this paranoia was. In 2014, it seemed to have stopped entirely from jumping host. A young woman named Stephanie had been the last reported person to be suffering from this condition. Stephanie had been dealing with this condition for seemingly months now after purchasing a collection of VHS tapes at a garage sale. This box of tapes was the only thing that connected her to the previously afflicted subject. With this data, we knew we were getting closer to understanding the anomalous condition. There were 13 films in total, which we assigned to Gregory to watch. In all honesty, most of us wanted to be the one to binge these classic movies. However, the unfortunate honor went to Gregory. Later, Gregory had been in a drunken stupor doing what he called overtime as he was binging the movies for the last 9 hours, half-acidly drinking beer the whole time. I don't think he took a single note. Until he finished Chicken Little, the hit 2005 film in which a chicken tries to warn his friends and family that the sky is falling. Immediately upon the movie's conclusion, he cleaned up his workstation, which was really just a lounge room couch, and went to his living space to get some sleep. At 3 a.m., after hearing footsteps past my quarters, I found Gregory rewinding the tape. Honestly, he was very sweaty and looked like he needed a shower desperately. After confronting him, it was clear Gregory had contracted this paranoia parasite, saving Stephanie from the torment. Interestingly enough, he found that he can alleviate the symptoms rather easily, simply by rewinding the tape. The problem is, the video will play no matter what. Put it back in the box, it's still moving forward, it's playing. Start playing the VHS and then unplug the power entirely. Nope. It moves. It plays the same rate as if it was in a regular screening, but rewinding it, as long as it was actively spinning backwards, would work, and holding down the rewind button would work too, but the device would slowly and continuously heat up, at first unnoticeably, until it eventually became too hot. Too hot for almost anything. It even set the lounge on fire twice. Thanks, Gregory. But he was clever enough to realize that he could fight the paranoia by resetting the tape. As long as the tape wasn't in the finished position, he would not be feeling this immense dread. Every time he would rewind it, he would get 81 minutes of freedom. And this seemed fine at first. He tried making devices that would rewind the tape automatically after it finished, and they all slowly began to fail. Even with that, he acted perfectly fine. We didn't realize that he was losing sleep at an alarming rate until it was far, far too late. His sanity was nearly depleted. This is when he crept into the hold and took Anomalous Item 81, using the power to freeze the tape in time permanently. I was in the middle of a conversation near Cocoa Beach, Florida when this occurred. The air began to taste different, almost like my mouth was filled with iron. And then I felt incredibly cold in the middle of the summer. My skin felt staticky, but for some reason I was feeling heavier and heavier. I struggled to look up, and when I did, I realized the clouds were much larger and closer than I remember. I knew something was wrong, and I tried to make it to my car, but then I was hit with a strange shift in momentum. I was flung to my death at nearly 1,000 miles per hour. In all fairness, this death wasn't painful. I was immediately knocked out due to the sudden change in speed. What I wouldn't know until later is this was a world-ending event. The Earth had stopped in its tracks independently of all other things on it. Buildings crumbled under millions of pounds of force as they continued to move with Earth's orbit, but the planet itself refused to budge. Tidal waves consumed countries as the waters overtook the land we had once called home. It wasn't long before the atmosphere was entirely gone. The planet began freezing on one side and being burnt by radioactive fire on the other. And that is why AI number 106 stays in our maximum security, no contact area permanently. Despite the seemingly much more benign side of tampering with someone's emotions and making them paranoid with a feeling of dread, mishandling this tape can have incredible consequences.